Hey, how you doing? Okay, so here's the thing. And I was a bit close. Okay, I am in Cheltenham. And it's interesting. The first thing I'm going to say about being in Cheltenham is when I arrived, I think when I was coming into town, it's like it killed rabbits arbitrarily. Yeah. And I know I say that almost as a generalization, which is unfair. But I saw like 5 rabbits like in the middle of the road, on the side of the road, that had just been squished. Not a very good introduction to Cheltenham. However, as I was going through to Montpellier, which is about 2 minutes from where I am parked right now, I started seeing those, Regency style houses that they talk about on the website. So I thought, okay, let me park in front of one of those and pay some money. Obviously, I'll use this area as my parking spot and walk into Montpellier, so I can do a bit of exploration and I can film it. Oh my God! Okay, like I have literally no idea what I'm doing here, but let's see. Take care, guys. Bye. Now I stopped here because I wanted to show you the store, Cologne and Cotton. I didn't actually go in at this point, but I did go in later on, and I have to say, I am going to buy things from the shop when I eventually go in. At this time, I was distracted by, pretty clothes and crap like that. But Cologne and Cotton, hands down, you gotta check it out, okay? If you're ever in Cheltenham, they have the most beautiful cotton night dresses. They have beautiful types of home colognes, personal colognes. This is not sponsored in any way. It's just, I know I'm going to be spending lots of my money there in the near future. That's all, guys. Bye. So I decided to do a bit of voiceover for this bit of the video, and possibly for lots of other little bits you're going to see, because I realized I didn't really say much during this trip to Cheltenham. I was just, taking pictures and taking videos. The reason you are seeing this particular street is because of all the Regency style houses that you will see just on the left over there. I looked in the park. Wasn't that interesting, to be honest. I'm not, I like parks for, parks, but if I don't live in your city, I'm not really checking out your park. However, the buildings, the architecture was absolutely very much of its time. This area sort of reminds me a lot of Harrogate. I think I say that later on, towards the end. And it reminds me of a lot of spa towns that you see in the UK, which is where you have a very specific type of architecture that just sort of harkens back to these, I won't say necessarily elegant times, because if you're black, it's not going to be that elegant for you. However, it does have that stateliness, the sort of properties you see in South Kens in London, those, townhouses. It just looks so very beautiful. And I just wanted to record this a bit for you. And I don't know what just happened here. I think I was sneaking behind somebody's house. Yeah. So, I think I just stopped somewhere and looked behind this house there. Oh my God, that's so creepy. Okay, back to the video. So guys, it's me again. The reason I'm giving out the voiceover here is because of this property you're going to see on the left, on the right rather. I don't know why, it just totally captured my attention. It reminds me of a ship, doesn't it? If I ever turn the camera back, which I will right soon. Yeah, that. It has this sort of nautical feel to it, this sort of sense of like a boat or a ship or a ship, like one of those cruise ships. That's the one of those cruise ships. I don't know why, it just gives me that vibe. And I was so fascinated by it because I wanted to just record it. It was just so weird because it's just a weird place for that sort of building to be. Anyway, I'm walking now towards Montpellier, the actual Montpellier mail area, down this road, unless I am mistaken. Yes, is the broad. So this is the broad walk, and at the end of it, you turn right, I believe, leads you down to Montpellier. Turns out I actually ended up doing one draped brick jam circle because I didn't know where I was going, so I walked around the back of the building and things. But hey, I'm exploring. It's okay to get lost. This is a fountain thing with the picture. That's it. The fountain up front there with it's pretty. It's on loan from the museum. It was nice to read. I don't remember what that thing said, but it's there. And I am going to continue walking now. And just to give you a heads up, I am going to cross across to the park that you're seeing on the right, just ahead of you rather. And it's like the central park that is on the axis of Montpellier and the Broadwalk, and it has lots of interesting little parky things there, including the statue of Host, who, incidentally, in case you did not know, is a Cheltenham boy. Don't ignore that noise. It's just, life happening. He's a Cheltenham boy. But yeah, stay tuned for that, okay? So I think the important thing about this bit that you're seeing is that basically it's leading on to where I was going, which was a vintage store called, I think it's Brewster's Vintage. On my way there, I saw like you say, a bookstore, a rare book shop, which I didn't go into because, life. However, I did go in here, which is vinyl something, I forget. You see the name later on. And the reason you should need to know is that this shop is actually below Brewster's Vintage, but Brewers, that's a Brewers Vintage, was actually closed. So I didn't go in, and I didn't actually even know that that's where Brewers Vintage was, because I just kept going round and round like a headless chicken. I got a record here. It's a Little Richard record. I think I show it to you. I'm not sure, maybe, but in case I don't, it's a Little Richard record. Really, really love it. I spent money, but I shouldn't. So Brewers is just above there. And as I come out, just to the left, there's actually a church, and they were the ones that told me where Brewers, wherever was. But more importantly, these guys, I mean, listen, this is not a religious thing. They are the sweetest people. There's this coffee shop that's inside the church premises, and when I went in there to ask for directions, they guided me to another vintage store, but they were much more urban vintage, which is not really my scene. So I mean, just not very long, you're gonna see there's like this little teeny tiny clip of them that I took from far away because I felt self-conscious. They gave me like they gave me tea, they didn't charge me any money for it. They were like the best. This is where I got lost, and by lost I mean very, very lost. Like I was so lost, I was like on the other side, the total other side of where I should be. It took me like a 35-minute walk from here to get back to where I should be, which is where my car was parked, or at least closer to where my car was parked. I was so lost, and it wasn't because I was using my sat nav, but it was because I had a different direction in. But great thing about getting lost is you get to find lots of interesting, charming things, and some of the things I found were some really great buildings, some really great architecture. And I think that's part of the charm of getting lost when you're in a new city, because what it allows you to do is to explore things you normally would not have done. So looking at the way these buildings were built, the way the architecture, the way it was represented was so wonderful and fascinating to me. I'm a bit of a nosy Parker, so I'm always trying to see what's going on in people's houses when I'm on the outside. I can't help it. But yeah, so this is me just after being lost and trying to figure out where I am. And then I think, yes, so now I'm back on Montpellier. I'm at the top of the road. I'm just getting a view down the whole road to show what that view looks like. Because I'm now back by the park, which you see on the left over there, and then up top is the Queen's Hotel. Is it Queen's Hotel? I think it's Queen's Hotel now. But yeah, so that's basically what you just saw. Me getting lost, getting found, and doing some very shoddy camera work. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But that's the park. You see, I told you I know where I am now. Hey guys, it is now just past 4 p.m. and I've been trying to get something to eat, somewhere to eat that isn't a pizza, or I think something that just maybe is more, I don't know, emblematic of Cotswold cuisine, not Cotswold, of Cheltenham sort of cuisine. Well, basically not really that, but just something different. I don't want to eat like in a pizzeria or any of the sort of places, any of the generic places that you go find food. So I've been going to some of the more interesting restaurants, and it seems that a lot of them seem to close at, let's try that, seem to close at 3 p.m. and then reopen at 5 o'clock, which yeah, well, not great. Now, taking that into consideration, there's also the fact that every other place that I have seen, and I just crossed the road at the wrong point. Every other place I have seen seems to be some sort of a pub, and they're doing like racing stuff. Basically, it's just very loud, not very nice. I tried the Ivy, no reservation, so couldn't eat. Where else did I go? I actually did go to ask, but it just wasn't nice. So I'm gonna try this place called the Chelsea Brasserie. Can you see it? Chelsea Brasserie. Fingers crossed I'm gonna be able to eat today before I leave Cheltenham. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to go to my house and eat that. Oh my god, like the Chelsea Brasserie were the sweetest, most delightful people. They fed me. They actually fed me when I arrived there. They made an effort to go find out from the kitchen if they could serve me, despite the fact that they were actually closed. But because they had a party upstairs, they fed me. I had things I shouldn't have. I didn't have any dessert, but I had a main, which was I had a starter, which was I think it was focaccia bread. I want to say focaccia bread, which I shouldn't be eating because I'm gluten intolerant. But hunger was real. And then my main was a prawn linguine. The linguine itself was a tad overdone, but the sauce, gosh, guys, that sauce was power. You're gonna see what I'm talking about soon. Like, this is the bread, and you're gonna see the linguine soon. But like, honestly, really, really nice people. If you're ever in Cheltenham, do go to them. Hello, everybody. So I have now eaten, and I can categorically say I feel like a much nicer person since I did eat. I need to bring my mouth. I feel like a much nicer person since I did eat because I was quite hungry, and I started having all these weird things that I wanted to cook and eat and everything. So I was making plans about, oh, I want to make this, I want to make that, I need to eat this, I need to eat that. So that's why it's important to eat when you're hungry, because if you eat when you're hungry, you stop having ridiculous ideas. Another thing to bear in mind, actually, is the fact that, so I'm here the week before the Cheltenham races. The Cheltenham races is next week, so you guys are probably going to be seeing this 2 weeks after. Is it 2 weeks or a week after the Cheltenham races? But anyway, if you're interested in racing and things of that sort, this is always a good time for you to come. I personally not that keen. It just seems like a whole bunch of stress, and I ain't got time for that. Anyway, I'm off back to Brum now, and I will say it's been a rather interesting day. I think the choices are, it's a very real question. If I had the choice between Cheltenham or some other parts of the Cotswold, like somewhere in Worcester, to go for a spa, where would I go? I don't know. Cheltenham does seem to have a lot of wonderful spas. I never got to experience any, of course, but just walking around and seeing things. Cute town. But would I want maybe a more bucolic experience for my spa? I think I would. I don't think I'm that keen on city spas. Should I tell you what this town reminds me of? This town reminds me of Harrogate. It reminds me of Harrogate, but in an interesting way, because they're not really similar. They're not like, Harrogate is much smaller town. But I think and also Harrogate has Betty's, which Cheltenham doesn't. But I think the way that reminds me of Harrogate is in the Regency structures of the building, of the architecture, and some of the wrought iron deco styles that you see on quite a few of the buildings. So there's an essence sometimes when I'm walking around places like the Promenade, which I did both in Harrogate and in Cheltenham, that, yeah, this is a very familiar style. It's a very familiar look. This is very, British of a certain type. The part where the posh old people in the Regency times, in the early 20th century, say, oh, I'm going to X, Y, and Z to take the waters. So it reminds me of that. Anyway, that's me for today. Not recording anything else after this. Not sure if I'm actually going to make the Cheltenham video like a separate video, because I don't think I took enough content, and I don't think they're particularly good. So this might just end up being part of the overarching vlog itself. I will still have to figure out what I'm going to do for a midweek video. Catch you later, guys. Past Wendy, obviously realize how lazy future Wendy is. So this is a post by itself. Bye, guys.